Hi guys, I'm Lauren Albin with Locality Streaming. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I'm really excited for this particular chat because it's something that I'm extremely passionate about, which is leadership and culture. And so Jax and I decided to take kind of a different approach and talk about our industry in a unique way. So as you can see, our topic, the top 5 real tough lessons learned from TV and movies to drive your success. So I think our goal here today really is to share things that can help shape or potentially influence the way that you think about leadership. And so when we think about leadership, leadership determines the culture of a company, which ultimately determines the success of a company. And we all kind of have had either a personal experience or maybe know someone that had an experience that maybe they didn't necessarily leave their company, but they definitely left a bad leader. And so I've had experiences like that myself. So that's kind of what sparked this conversation. Let me tell you a little bit about Jaclyn Wyatt, who, as you know, likes to be called Jax. She's had over 15 years of experience in marketing, strategy, innovation, digital media. If you haven't checked out her LinkedIn, please do so because it's very impressive. She is a marketing wizard. She's got a lot of experience. I think she's really excited about some things that she's accomplished in her current role at Samsung, head of digital marketing and social commerce. We also know from our previous conversation that she thrives on innovation, and she always wants to do things that have never been done before. It's really what pushes her. Just for Q&A later, you can ask her about sending the first phone to space. That's something that she's very excited about. But right now, I really want to take the time to kind of talk about her leadership abilities and her style. There's something to this. She knows what's going on because she was a proud recipient of the Samsung CEO Award for Leadership. And then most recently, a few weeks ago, she won the Samsung Center of Excellence Award. So highly
I got a glass award. It's just pretty classy. Just everybody asks, they're like, "Oh, did you get a TV?" I'm like, no.
No.
It was a glass
No
award.
trip? No trip. Okay.
I would love a TV. Just be able to.
So as we were conversing and talking about this particular fireside chat, in our conversation, she talked about particular scenes from movies that have impacted her and stayed with her and really kind of guided her in how she chooses to be a leader and really how she lives her life. And so that's kind of where this is going. It's a little bit different direction, but we're excited about it.
Yes, I mean, thank you so much for everybody and for being like, what is this thing? Pearl in particular, she got me water because she's like, here she goes. Thank you, you're so kind. I get asked a lot, with Mission Phone in Space. That was an 8-month project with X and Elon and Suwon and lots of things, and we finally got that phone to space, which was incredible. And everyone's like, wow, you're so successful. How did you do it? And what's your style? And when I really sat back and thought about it, and it's also this gentleman, his brand innovator, Fireside Chat, inspired me. He climbed mountains for a month.
Okay, she told me about that.
Yeah, it was amazing. I watch movies, so we each have our own way of being inspired as leaders, right? But it was one of those things that I realized. I was talking to my husband, I said, gosh, this is such an honor to come up and say, what is it that drives success? And for me, it's movie lines that keep popping in my head. So for you, it might be songs, it might be a mentor that told you something, but I'm going to, Lauren and I are going to walk you through my journey of movie lines that just pop in, and we're going to talk about them. So it might be odd, but let's give it a shot.
So I don't know if you all had a chance to look at her T-shirt, but she's right on top of it, right?
My number 1 favorite line.
So you want to just kind of talk about what impacted you when you saw that?
To me, it's, this is really about imposter syndrome. Now, if you've seen the movie, she was an imposter. So, let's just take that and move it aside. She did lie on her resume. Don't do that. That's not what I recommend. But it's one of those things that in the movie, as you watch it, and her leader is stressed out or dealing with a lot of things, she just goes, I'm right on top of that, Rose. And then she figures it out. She asks for help. She delegates. And to me, it's such a powerful thing for my team, but for me as a leader, to get over that imposter syndrome that all of us have, let's be honest. Do I deserve to sit at this table? My leadership just asked me to send a phone to space. Okay. You know what I did? I'm right on top of that, KS. And we did it. And I think like it's such a simple line, and some of us were talking, those of you that are younger, the Gen Zs in the room, you're like, what is this show? I promise watch it. But there is something magical about saying to yourself, saying to your leadership, and having your employees say to you, I'm right on top of that. The other thing I'll tell you as a leader, please confirm receipt. Oh, it's just like, just when you find out from your team that they replied to your email, you say, need this, this, this. Jax, confirm receipt. I'm right on top of that. So that's why I have a t-shirt. My team knows I say I'm right on top of that, Rose, all the time to them. They probably think I'm crazy. But it's important to say to yourself, you can do it. But you first have to say it out loud. And I think that's what's really powerful if you watch the movie. She just keeps saying it out loud, and then she goes and kills it, right? I'm right on top of that. I'm going to go do it. That's why it's my favorite. That's why we started with that one.
Yeah, we started with that one, so that's great.
I mean, it's a classic. I don't know about you, but my Excel spreadsheet did the exact same thing yesterday. It's like 30 years later, and why does my life still look like that? To me, it's interesting because that's a life and death moment. Obviously, that's what made Apollo 11, right? 13, thank you. Sorry, it's been a long week. I knew it was my 13th. Apollo 13 is so magical, and the story is so amazing. And we all, we love stories, human stories about, again, climbing mountains and being a heart surgeon and all these things. We're marketers, okay? And it's amazing to me, I'm going to be straight up honest, this is the brutal conversation, how often we're afraid to failure and to say it out loud. Like, these are life and death situations, and they have to say, Houston, we have a problem. Right? Or you're a surgeon. Houston, we have a problem. But I'll admit, again, as marketers, we sometimes go to a room and go, I don't need you. You have a problem. Just say it. So my background, as you were talking about before, is in product innovation. I was very lucky. I worked for a gentleman, Doug Hall, that taught me fail fast, fail cheap. Fail fast, fail cheap. And just because it's product innovation, that's what I do every day with my team. Fail fast, fail cheap. We will fail. To your point before, we're going to fail. Not everything we do is good. And again, like in the marketing world, we need to be okay with failing. We need to be okay with red numbers. We need to be okay saying, I screwed up. And what's amazing to me is, knock on wood, you don't have any wood in your bike, do you, Pearl? But fine. Okay. I haven't been fired yet for doing something different, right? And so I think, but you have to be okay to say, Houston, we have a problem. And tell your team, I will have your back. I promise you, I've got you. But you have to tell me when there's a problem. And that to me is so, again, it's such a cheesy line. I know we've all heard it, but it's so true. And I don't think we do it enough. Even with our leadership, hey, we have a problem. Be the person that stands up and says something. Because you will be remembered as the one that says, I not only have a problem, but I have a solution.
Yeah, that's the key.
Right.
Try to come with a problem and a potential solution,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But something that you said that kind of resonates with me. We're in media, in marketing, we're not saving lives here. We're selling air or whatever that might be, right? So sometimes things in our mind look so daunting.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, let's put life in perspective. So.
Well, so I think everybody thinks I'm going to say, so you can't handle the truth. I had to keep it in there because that's what we know. Do you know how often I want to be Tom Cruise and just go, I want the truth? I'm not going to ask you to play it again, Jackson, but you saw it, right? I want the truth. Again, we're marketers, right? I get it. There's 1,000 ways we can just look at a data point. We're kind of like lawyers in that sense sometimes, right? I can argue all sides. Well, the lift was good in this way. Y'all. I want the truth. And I think, again, it goes back to that, Houston, we have a problem, but also tell me the truth. And I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you a little secret that I do. At Samsung, I've done it with my team and my peers, and trust me now, they're like, oh, here she comes with a referee hat. I have a referee hat and a yellow flag that I take to meetings. I do. Because what I say is, we're going to tell the truth in this meeting. We're going to bring out what none of us want to talk about. We're going to bring out the stuff that's like, oh, did you hear so-and-so did this? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to bring my referee hat, and if I need to put my referee hat on to say, you're going across the line. And you know what's funny? People love it, right? Oh, Jack's my referee hat. I'm like, yeah, but you know why? Because they want to say the truth. Y'all, we're in this together. I'm here to sell phones and buds and watches and tabs, okay? So if I'm having a problem doing that, let's talk about it. If somebody is stopping me, let's talk about it. If there's a finance problem driving you nuts, let's talk about it. And I think, again, that's where it goes so closely with Houston, we have a problem, is we have to start telling the truth more, I think, in the office place, and have the courage to say what needs to be said. And if it takes a referee hat and a yellow flag, be like, oh my gosh, this crazy girl from Samsung, like, trying to get this referee hat, she said it works for her. And guess what? It's gonna work. Because we need to start saying the truth more. We were just sitting here on this panel talking about all these vendors and all these optimizations and all this stuff. Y'all, if you really want to make an impact in your organization, if you want to make an impact and do really cool things, you're going to have to tell the truth. This didn't work. I got hacked. Trust me, I said it. I said to my boss today, I missed that completely. Blind spot, my fault, let's fix it. And what's amazing is that if somebody says, why have you been successful in your career? I tell them it's because I tell the truth. I just want the truth. I mean, maybe Tom will call me and I'll do the remake.
Isn't there a rule with your referee hat that has to be started with kindness? And
Oh yes,
with
they do.
kindness?
I forgot about that. Sorry, I was so inspired by it. You can't handle the truth. No, but thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, absolutely. So we have a very strict rule on my team about kindness. My team knows that, again, we're going to, imagine working for me. Like, you're going to screw up. Things aren't going to be perfect. You're going to be exhausted. I don't care about any of that. I have your back. But you will be kind. Kind doesn't mean nice. Kind means you say the truth. Kind means you're tough when you need to be tough. And on my team, if I hear that you're not kind to another person, we're going to have problems. Everything else we can handle. Everything else is figured out. But kindness to me is so important. Because everybody that walks through that door at Samsung, they want to see Samsung win, right? Like nobody walks in, and if somebody walks in and they don't want Samsung to win, get rid of them. That's not a good thing. Assume the best in people and be kind. So to your point, yes, especially when the referee hat comes off, that's rule number one. We will be kind to each other. We're all in this together.
See, she's a great leader.
See, this is a good one right after I go on a kindness one. I did. So this one's a tough one. And if I were honest with y'all, I would have this on my phone ready to play at least once a day. Because it's true. The whininess. I have a sign on my desk that says no whining allowed. Now, it's a very tough thing to tell people. Again, kind people say you're whining. And again, like whining, you're allowed to whine. Let me just be very clear with you. I think I told you. Like I whine to my husband, my dog, my kids, my parents, my friends, Pearl. I probably whined to you already once today. I'm not saying don't whine. Whine, we're all humans. We whine. But in the workplace, knock it off. Straight up. Knock it off. And knock it off with your boss. Knock it off with your peers. Knock it off when working with another organization or another group. So let me give you a couple examples. So the first is, I was asking an agency partner for some information. First of all, I didn't really agree with it. Don't get me wrong. I was like, I need this. They wrote back to me, not one, not two, not three, but 7 reasons why they couldn't do it. 7 reasons. 7 reasons why they couldn't do it. And I couldn't even respond to the email because for me, I was furious. Like that's not helping me by you telling me the 7 reasons you can't. Oh, sorry. Did I get fired up? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's because I was playing Tom Cruise earlier. 7 reasons. And so I didn't respond. My team knows, like, when they know when they whine to me, they know they've whined because my reaction is I don't respond. I just look at them like, interesting, try it again. So I saw this person the next day, and she goes, did you not like my email? Yeah, I didn't, because you were whining, right? Now, I also want to tell you, here I am, little miss up here, like, guys don't whine. I do it all the time. This is called a practice, right? So we have new leadership at Samsung, and they came in, and they said, Jax, your organic social handles, I think there's ways we can improve it. And I'm like, excuse me? And I wrote back and said, oh no, this is how we've done it, and this is, I'm doing this for this person, and this is, AT&T over here, they're really difficult. Sorry to take the throw under the bus. No, but how, And she came back to me and said, yeah, but Jax, I really think you should reconsider your organic social strategy. Well, you don't understand. How many times I have to, and I just kept going. Then she did to me in an email, or in a meeting, Jax, like your social media strategy. Oh, no, I mean, I'm trying so hard and you keep asking me, and I'm telling you I have all these rules. And then I looked at my email to her, and I was mortified, y'all. I was mortified. Like, man, did I whine. This was like a few weeks ago, okay? I whined. And so when I reread that email and I looked at myself, I went, all right, I'm gonna respond back. Hi, Olga. You're right. Tell the truth. She was right. We do have a problem. I'm sorry, I've been whining to you. I told her that. You know what? I've been whining. It's not an answer. Here's what I'm going to do over the next 7 days for us to fix this. I'm right on top of that, Rose. Let me ask you a question. How do you think my relationship is with my new boss ever since I did that? So it was a blessing in disguise, I'm going to be honest with you. Again, it's a practice, it's an art. But that's what I mean by all of this. Tell the truth. There is a problem. I made a mistake. I'm sorry for whining. I'm right on top of that. And from there, y'all watch out. We're sending phones to space. you know? But these are pretty classic things. And this one's a tough one. This one's a tough one. And I challenge you, and I challenge you as leaders, and I challenge your team and your kids, knock it off with the whining. Save it for your friends. Save it for your happy hour. Save it for your dog. Don't do it in the workplace, because nothing turns off leaders more than whining.
Agree. And what I love about her, she's so authentic. Like, this is where I screwed up, and let me tell you about it, and then this is how I'm going to fix it. And so, again, it kind of goes back to being a leader that is approachable, that can admit fault, right? That can be heart-driven, care about your people. That's why I'm so excited to do this. It's right up my alley. Okay, you ready?
One more.
You said 5.
5.
All right. I highly encourage you to watch the whole 2.5 minutes. If you've seen it, yes. It's even as I watch it again, my poor team, I think I make them watch it once a month. It brings me to tears. And not just because it's on Apple Plus and that makes me mad, but that's the reason why it brings me to tears. But, we as marketers live our lives in marketing every day, right? We don't turn it off. And we work with people that live in marketing every day, but they're not marketers. And they don't turn it off either. I don't know about you, but nothing gets under my skin more than getting a screen grab of an Instagram ad that shows the carousel of images where somebody goes, but I thought this was an ad for a watch. Why do I also see a TV when I scroll? Have you been to the Samsung.com TV section lately? I have. Then maybe the ad was working. Man, that irritates me. Do you know that to drive me all nuts? Or like a paid search screenshot. Hi, Jax. When I was searching for this thing, it gave me this ad. Why would I get this? Be curious, not judgmental. So again, I talk about my innovation days. I worked a lot with Lean Six Sigma and studied Edward Deming, which is amazing. And the thing that he said a lot was 94% of failures are due to the system, 6% due to the worker. And that's not just factories. That's any system, including marketers, right? And so one of the things is when you have failure, question the system first before the people. And that's hard. Again, I'm human. I'm a whiner, just not in work. It's hard, but question the system first. Be curious about why this thing happened, why it failed, instead of blaming. And so where Deming had all of these great Lean Six Sigma things and all this stuff, I don't know, Ted Lasso and Walt Whitman, man, poetic. Be curious, not judgmental. I made a sign for every single member of my team, and it's on their desk. And I tell them, when you get that email that just really gets under your skin, be curious, not judgmental. Because the person that asked you that really does care. If they don't care, again, get rid of them. That means they shouldn't be here, but more likely than not, they care. Be curious. Oh, okay, so you were on Instagram, you saw this ad, you saw the watch and a TV. Yeah, interesting. So you're looking at a TV. Yeah, I'm doing it. Ask the questions. Find out why they looked at it. We are marketers. And it's so important for us to just kind of have that curiosity, even in those days when it's super frustrating. Even those days when you get all of those numbers we were talking about before and you say, Houston, we have a problem, all this stuff. But as humans, as marketers, I think curiosity is the thing that brought us to this world. And it's the one thing that I think we sometimes lack, is just having that curiosity to keep going. So that's why I wanted to end with that one, not the stop whining, even though we don't know which one's my favorite. But be curious, not judgmental. And I encourage that to be a motto for everybody on your team. And even when the going gets tough, be curious, not judgmental of what's happening. And I guarantee magic will happen.
I love it. Did we have any questions from the audience?
Did I get 5?
Yeah,
I can count properly. Let's thank you. Tell the CEO I know how to
guys,
count.
ask a question. Come on, someone must have a question. Be brave.
Does anybody have a favorite? Like, does anybody have, like, there's many movie lines, but again, these things pop in my head all the time. Does anybody else have one that they love, that they want to share?
I can be vulnerable, maybe.
Yes.
So back when I was a young sales planner, I worked for a salesperson who was asked by one of her clients to put together a spreadsheet in a certain way, and we had offices across sort of a common area. And I thought the question was dumb. I couldn't believe that we were just, we had to do this. So I was like, fine, the opposite of right on, Rose. And I walked across, and I sat down on my computer, and I started to do the work, and she came flying in after me. And she was not kind. I was whining, she was not kind. And it was the opposite of what you just said. From then on, we did not like each other. We did not work well together. And it caused both of us a bit of strife. So I wish you were down then. But I learned my lesson. And I love how you presented it. So cool.
It's a practice.
Yeah.
You know, we like, in marketing, we talk about the art of marketing and the science of marketing, but marketing's a practice. And that's what this is, every day. Yeah.
So, how can you be empathetic with your employees if they cannot whine? Or how can you listen to them
Great question.
and just have some concern with what they are doing?
I love that. Thank you. So the first thing is, to your point, with my clause on whining and kindness is my employees, if we do one-on-ones, etc., I give them time to whine. I'm like, if you need 5 minutes to whine, go for it.
Whining time.
Whine, absolutely, it's whining time. Don't do it with other teammates, don't do it with my boss, don't do it, whining time, absolutely. Because again, we're human, we gotta get it out. I get it. So number one, I always allow them to whine. And then I say, what are we gonna do about it? Because again, it's a system issue. Let's be curious, not judgmental. Let's be right on top of that, Rose. So I allow them to happen, but I think for me, if I go back to that email, when I asked for that thing and I got 7 responses on why it wasn't doable, if it would have just said, Jax, these are the 7 reasons we can't do what you're asking by this date. I will get you 1 and 2 by tomorrow at 2, no problem. Have a solution to the problem. And I think that's what I'm constantly telling my team. So they know, trust me, they know what silence means. Silence means you just whined, and I'm kindly waiting for your solution.
I have a question on number 4, the whining one. Yes. I'm going to stay there for a little bit. In the example that you shared with your new boss, where she came in and gave feedback, and you disagreed. I mean, what about, obviously, in your career, there have been many times when you have disagreed, right, and wanted to authentically push back. Like, how have you done that? Is it by being curious, or is it something?
By being curious. I think that's you got it. You got the message. I can walk out now. No, but for me, that's what it was. It's in that particular situation with organic social, you know, with us being a global company, we are required a lot to do things. And what was so interesting, and I told her this the other day, I actually remember, I can tell you the day, time, and where I was standing when I got it. It clicked with me. What she was saying to me was, you keep just doing things because you're being told to. She wanted me to have a defense. She wanted me to have a POV. I just kept whining. That's the difference. Whining isn't pushing back. Notice I didn't, Devil Wears Prada, she pushes back, right? You can't have a point of view, but it's whining. And I think that's what it was, is that I look back on that experience and go, the first time she challenged me on our strategy, if I would have stood up and said, that's a great question, and here's exactly why we're doing X, Y, Z, probably would have been over. But what happened was when she asked me that question, I went, well, it's because I was told I had to.
Hello.
Whining, right? So I think that's it. It's not about not pushing back. It's, do you have a point of view, or are you just whining? Which again, I do later. Make that very clear. I'm not perfect. I just do it later, yes.
So I'll switch to the one about you want the truth.
Yes.
How do you, because there are so many harbingers of truth, and like you said, especially as how you get data.
Yeah.
So how do you determine where the truth lies? Is it through consensus or through authority?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question to ask a Samsung employee. Trust me, because it can depend. That's a great question. I do believe in, at the end of the day, there is authority. There's a reason that I'm sitting in the seat that I'm in. I also think us as leaders, though, need to provide context as a gift to our employees. So, in fact, on our way here today, I was looking at the map to see what building we were in, and my employee called and she said, Jax, you told me that you wanted the data this way. I'm still confused. Why are you showing that, not this? It's my decision. It's my name on it. And I told her, I said, Amy, I want it to be this and this and this, but let me explain why. And you can still, to your point earlier, she can still disagree with me, and she knows that. She can disagree with me. At the end of the day, though, I'm the one reporting into the CEO. I think that's another thing that I've learned in my career that I'm trying really hard to do against practice. We tend to, as leaders, not give context to our answers. And that's really something we need to work on is, I disagreed with you, I saw it a different way, I'm not using that, I am using that, and here's why. And it's okay, I don't know if y'all remember, I feel like in grade school, you can disagree in the room, but outside of this room, we're together. And the team knows that as well. But at the end of the day, it's my name on it.
Do one more question. That gentleman, I think, overhead is.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you talk a lot about how a lot of issues are with the system, and then also embracing failure.
Yep.
How do you create a system or a culture that accepts failure within it?
Yes.
Especially outside of marketing.
Absolutely, that's true. Yeah, especially in marketing right now. I mean, I think we were all just talking earlier. I don't know about you all. I'm feeling a lot of pressure lately. And everybody I've talked to is like, I'm under pressure too. So I think there's something going on. I don't know if it's a moon or something, but marketers are under a lot of pressure. To be very frank with you, I have a reputation at Samsung as somebody that walks in the room and says, I failed. And it's not easy. Trust me, sometimes I'm the only woman in the room that goes in and does that, or I am junior. But what I do is I go in that room with confidence and say, I gave it a shot, it didn't work, here's what I'm gonna do next time. And I gotta be honest with you, I think my leaders like that. Our leadership, if you show all green, they're like, there's no way it was perfect. So to your point, I think it starts with me. I have a reputation of being someone that is willing to fail. When we were sending phones to space, I think I did more PowerPoint decks on how it's not going to fall from space than the actual sending the phone to space, right? Because they're like, oh, this is Jackson's failure over here. The phones are going to fall. But that's on me. And I know that's my reputation that I have at the company. And so to that point, then my team knows that I will always protect them. I would much rather say we failed than just to walk around Samsung and go, look at me, I always win. I don't. And I think people respect that.
Awesome. A round of applause for Jaclyn.